You know, before I get into the meat of this video, here's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. And of course, you have seen the title. You know, this weekend's Rabbit Hole production. Damn. You know, just when you think that that rabbit hole can go no deeper, all of a sudden it descends into what appears to be a bottomless abyss of debauchery, dysfunction, and straight out mental illness. I'm going to explain to y'all how this weekend's rabbit hole came into fruition. I'm going to be very careful here because I noticed in my last video I may have came a little bit too hard because that video was clearly shadow banned, but you know, that's the practice here on YouTube. It is what it is. So I'm going to be politically correct here. But my God, when I get that video down in the hole. But let me tell y'all what it is. I'm sitting back, I believe it was either Monday or Tuesday. And you know, I'm on iTunes and I'm downloading some music because when I'm on the treadmill, I like to listen. I listen to music, and it runs the gamut. I mean, I've got some of everything. In my iTunes library, man, I got some of everything. I got country, you know, R&B, hip hop. You know, I mean, it's some of everything in there that I have. And one of the groups that I happen to like some of their songs was Boyz II Men. And I'm looking for this particular song that I like to run to, and that's Motown Philly. Now, if you know, familiar with the song or Boyz II Men, it tells what age you are. But so I'm looking for Boyz II Men's Motown Philly because I wanted to get it to put in my library because I wanted to, you know, use it when I'm on the treadmill. And then I noticed that Boyz II Men also done a song to Mother. I think it's not Dear Mama. I think the title of that song is A Song to Mother, but I can't remember. But it is a song that they're dedicated to Mom. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it, and I'm chuckling. Y'all know the reason why. And while I'm doing all of this, I go back and I check my email, and I have an email from this brother. I imagine he's a guy. I kind of believe he's a white guy, but that race don't really even matter. And he sends me a video clip of a Ghetto Gaggers interview with a mother and daughter. And as I went, and this is he first sent me the politically correct version of the interview, and then he commented in an email that, well, if you want the unedited, you know, which they can't put on, obviously he has to get this from their website, I'll send it to you. So I send him back an email, like, send it, I want to see it. But before he sent the actual raw footage, I looked at the politically correct version. And that in of itself was enough. And some of you may be familiar with the whole storyline. We have this heifer excuse me, because I said I'm going to be careful. We have this African-American female who's doing Ghetto Gaggers. And obviously she couldn't complete the whole, you know, process. So she leaves, and she is brought back to finish the scene by none other than her mother. Her mother comes and sits with her daughter while her daughter completes a ghetto gagger scene. And the white guy who's interviewing them, you can hear in his voice, man, this is some crazy. I believe he actually said that, man, this is some weird shit. We ain't never seen nothing like this. I mean, here you have the backbone of the black community. Be careful, Mike, be careful. I'm reminding myself. Here we have the backbone of the black community, the most educated of any group, the bright and morning star. And she's with her daughter. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this interview and I'm thinking to myself, man, this has got to be staged. Somebody's trying to clown me. And then I go and I read the comments in the comment thread from people, and they're refusing to believe it. They're refusing to accept what we all are witnessing. A mother and her daughter. Her mother brings her daughter back to complete a ghetto gaggers scene and sits there with her daughter while these dudes do what they do. I mean, again, this is the politically correct version. We know what they do. And her mother's sitting there watching. Listen, y'all. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm going to show y'all the interview. And then I'm going to give you my commentary, man. Let me take a sip of this, man, because oh, man, hold on. Man, I ain't never seen nothing like this. But I must say it don't surprise me, because nothing surprises me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even this. It's weird to watch. And I'm feeling the white dude who's interviewing the mother and the daughter, and you can hear the utter, man, I can't believe I'm actually going to film this woman's daughter, and her mother is going to watch. And then the white dude even says that maybe we can get y'all back and have y'all do one together. Man, listen, man, man, there's so much in that. There's so much in that. And for those of y'all who want to say, well, they're being paid. Yeah, they're being paid. What amount? I don't know. I don't know what they're being paid, but it can't. There's not enough. You would think there's not enough that they could pay them, based upon the rhetoric that we hear about how highfalutin and sophisticated and high class the black woman is. So they obviously y'all can't pay me enough. In the tradition of the great Mike Tomlin, when they asked him, "Are you going to go back and coach college football?" Mike Tomlin said, "Listen, no, a booster don't have a blank check big enough to get me to leave from coaching this storied franchise of the Pittsburgh Steelers to go back and coach USC, a college team." And you would think that this woman would say the same thing there. Y'all don't have a blank check big enough to pay me to watch y'all do this to my daughter, my child. Oh, send me an email. I'll get you the link. Oh man. Let me calm down, because I got to still do this politically correct video. And people were sending me emails. And it's funny that all the people who sent me this footage, y'all had to know as soon as I got this, y'all had to know this was a hoax. I mean, come on, y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all know I'm taking this to the hole, man. Y'all know, listen, it's like Michael Jordan. And you got Michael Jordan on a breakaway. What is he gonna do with that basketball? You know what he's gonna do. All you got to do is get your camera and everything situated. You ain't got to look at Michael Jordan. All you got to do is just go film the basket. And you know sooner or later you're going to see Jordan flying through the air with that ball. He going to smash that rim with that basketball. Y'all know what he going to do. Y'all know I was going to deal with this. If you want to see the Ghetto Gaggers interview with the Queen and her daughter, send me email. I'll get you the link. And then I'm gonna give you my commentary after it, man. This whole, man, it's a bottomless abyss of debauchery, dysfunction, mental illness. Everything is in that clip. Everything that I've showed y'all is in that clip. I actually could do a part two that I already done this video. But let me get off of that because the more I think about it and what I seen, I'm gonna slip up, and I don't want to do that in this video. We got to get through this politically correct rant on why you should study history. So you know what it is. Send me an email. I'll get you the link. And of course, you have seen the title. Now, I've covered this, and y'all know me. I have no problem with coming back and doing it again and hammering home a point that I've hammered home in many of my videos, man. And that is the importance of studying history. I mean, you have to understand history. I mean, if you listen to the divestors or you listen to these sisters on social media, what becomes painfully obvious is that many of them don't have an understanding of history. They just don't. It's not that, see, it's a different story if they were saying some stuff and I disagree with them. If they had a grasp of history and they said something and I disagree with it, or I disagree with their interpretation, we can't even get to that point because the things that they're saying makes no sense. And I told brothers this, man. Y'all really, all y'all have to do is understand history, man. Isn't this what the most honorable El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X taught us and told black people the importance of studying history? Because without a proper understanding of history, you can't understand the present without an understanding of the past. They're connected. And I think about if you have a doctor's appointment, let's say you got a doctor's appointment next week. Before you go in and see that doctor, before you even talk to the doctor, you're going to talk to who? You're going to talk to his nurse. And his nurse is going to, take your temperature, take your blood pressure, weigh you. If you're on medication, she's going to go through your medications. She's going to talk about overall how you feel. And she's going to convey that to the doctor so that when the doctor comes in to see you, he has an understanding of what's going on. In other words, they have to get that history down pat to properly diagnose you. This is the reason why when you go to the doctor's office, they'll tell you if you're taking medication, bring a list of the medications that you're taking. We need to know what you're taking, what's going on with you. We got to have that history. History is important. Without that history, hey, look, man, we don't know what you took in the past. We don't know what you've taken now. Listen, we don't have to start over fresh. You have to understand history. You can't grasp the present predicament of black people, black women and black men without an understanding of history. And I've given y'all the analogy. If you sit black people down with white people, and let's say y'all gonna have a racial dialogue. These dialogues, these mythical dialogues that really aren't dialogues, but let's say blacks and whites are going to have a serious dialogue on race. And I've given y'all this analogy before. And before the dialogue takes place, let's say white people say, listen, we're willing to sit down and talk to you Negroes, but we don't want to talk about history. We don't want to talk about slavery. We don't want to talk about Jim Crow. We don't want to talk about none of that shit. If that was the parameters in which white people said they were willing to have a racial dialogue with black people, the majority of black, but I say the majority because some of y'all would still agree to sit down because that's how dumb y'all are. But the majority of black people would say, hell no. And if you ask those Negroes, well, wait a minute, Negro, why aren't you willing to sit down and talk to white people? I thought y'all wanted to have a racial dialogue with them. Yeah, but they don't want to talk about history. Well, why do you think we need to bring history up? It's because history is what shaped the present. Oh, okay. So in order for y'all to understand the present, we have to go back and understand the past, right? Yeah. Okay, I got it then. So if that's the case in a racial dialogue, why is that not the case in a gender dialogue? Why is it that these black women do not want to talk about history? And that's a rhetorical question because I already know the answer. I already know why they don't want to talk about history. Because history, if you go back into history, history debunks their talking points. Every one of their talking points is debunked by history. This is the reason why, and see, and I disagree with them, but I know Cynthia G knows the history. She knows it. She knows it. Your Cynthia G knows it. Your Nyla Sayers knows it. Your Crystalline Kaiser knows it. Your Brooklyn Blue knows it, and there may be others. So the fact that they don't reference history, then they are being disingenuous and they're pushing propaganda. But now that's just for a few of them. The rest of them just don't know. They have no clue. But those that I mentioned, and there could be others added into that group, they know. They know this. Oh, yes, they do. They know. I can tell when I listen to them, the things they say, and their arguments, how they formulate their arguments. I know. You know this. You just don't want to address it because you know that if you deal with history, if you go back and listen, y'all, I told y'all, listen, it's right there in y'all's face, man. I don't know why y'all missed this. The fact that you have a cottage industry of life coaches, relationship coaches, femininity coaches tells you that somebody failed these women. Somebody failed them. And I've said this over and over and over again in videos, man. Listen, if it takes a big pill to teach you what silverware to use, come on, man. If it takes a April Mason, if it takes some of these other sisters who have these femininity courses and classes and seminars, if it takes them to teach you simple stuff that your mother should have taught you, and you don't know this stuff, then at what point do we not say that your mama failed you? I mean, it's just like these women who run around and I seen a post by that Yanni Red. She put up a post last week, I believe it was. And it was a skit of this woman coming home and she's tired and she's beat down. She done worked 40 hours and plus, and she don't want to do the 50-50 thing, meaning she don't want to have a man who she do have, he do have. She wants to be taken care of. And they use that as if to say that black men are forcing these women to accept 50-50 roles. No, black men aren't forcing y'all to accept 50-50 roles, baby. Study your history, Yanni. It was your mama. Your your mother. Your mother was the one who told us she could do it. She not only told us, she told the world. And this is the reason why she went out and received the definition of being the backbone. Y'all look at that. Why black women? Listen, not know how important your backbone is? When it comes down to any function that you do, sitting on the toilet, listen, you're going to have problem sitting on a toilet to take a dump. And for some of you men to take a piss, because we know some of y'all squat when y'all piss, but that's definitely for the whole. But you're going to have a problem sitting on the toilet if you have a back that's screwed up. Most certainly you're going to have a problem lying in bed. The back is crucial, man. And if you want to talk about all of the movements that you engage in throughout your day, you have to have a strong back. So if the black woman is got the title of the backbone of the black community, then doesn't that tell you the important role that she played? And who was it that gave her that title? And not only did they give her the title, she accepted it. That's history. So you can't come in 2021 talking about we don't want to be 50-50. Well, your mama wanted to be 50-50. See, y'all need to study y'all's history. And it's apparent that y'all have not studied y'all. And listen, when you listen to these sisters, it's obvious. It's obvious, man. It's not that I disagree with what you're saying. I know you don't know what you're talking about. It would be different if you were saying and you was historically correct in your analysis and you said some stuff that was off, then we can have a discussion. But right now, we got to get you to even understand your own history. You can't run around now and talk about everything in present tense as if this is the way it has always been. No, baby. No, not at all. Not at all. It hasn't been this way. It has not always been this way. You had men, fathers in the home. Yes, you did. Who went to work and provided for their children and their wives in their home. Yeah, you had that. Yes, you did. Study your history. And it's kind of ironic when you look at the rise of single-parent households, how it directly correlates and coincides with what? Y'all know what it coincides with. We've covered this. It coincides with what y'all's mother told the world she could do. I can do this by myself, she said. I don't need him. And the white liberal female was applauding her, patting her on the back while she said it. That white liberal, and I told y'all, they sneaky, man. You got to watch them. You got to watch them. She patted that black woman on the back because she duped. The one who duped black women is that white liberal. She duped y'all. She tricked y'all. She got y'all to actually believe that y'all are being oppressed by black men. She got y'all to believe that. So your mother was the one who went out and said, listen, I don't need him. I can do this myself. I can work myself and take care of myself and run my household myself. And when somebody came to her and said, well, yeah, you can do that. You have daughters, but now you have sons. What about them? Oh, I can do that too. I can do it all because I'm strong and independent. Yeah, April. Your mother considered that a compliment. You say it's an insult, but your mother took it as a compliment. That's history. That's history, y'all. I mean, listen, all I'm doing is giving y'all history, man. That's all I'm doing, man. But see, in this age of the internet, and I told y'all it's a curse for you Negroes, anybody who has a recording device and internet access can record videos. I mean, it's just what it is. So everybody's bumping their gums. But for those of us who've done the research, who studied this era, who studied it, we know when we hear you talk, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you just don't. You just don't know what you're talking about. If you're going to sit back as I've outlined for y'all in many of these videos, and you're going to say that black men are the ones who's, putting y'all in these or at these protests, and black men are hiding behind y'all and all this other stuff, you really don't know your history. You really don't. You don't know your history. The most, I would imagine one of the most famous boycotts was the Montgomery bus boycott. And when those women went to Martin Luther King and asked him to be the spokesman for that movement, he didn't want to do it. The women came to Dr. King and asked him, "We want you." And why did they want him? He was young. He was just taking over the pastoralship of his father's church. According to y'all, he was a handsome guy. So you got an educated, handsome, well-dressed black male who they gravitated towards then and y'all gravitate towards now. And y'all asked him, your mothers asked him, lead this movement. He didn't want to do it. Until them Jews and those liberals got, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, man. Hold up. That's definitely a slip. Let me take a sip of this, man. Hold up. Yeah, that's definitely a slip there, man. I got to be more careful. He didn't want to do it until somebody whispered in his ear. And then he went out and done it. And we know how that all ended. But you would not have had that kind of movement if it wasn't for y'all's mothers. And y'all's mothers was the one who most of all, who were riding the public transportation. It was the women. You wouldn't have had that bus boycott if it wasn't for women. Study your history. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. And this is one thing that I cannot accept. I have zero tolerance for historical ignorance because it's so pervasive. There is no reason for you to be historically ignorant. It's just not, man. Back in the day, yeah, well, they don't teach our history in school. Well, you don't need it taught in school. I mean, you do, but that's not a requirement. You can still get it if you want it. You can still get it if you want it. But the fact is you don't want it. Because y'all, and I say y'all, I'm talking about black women, they want to stay in the present. They want to stay in the present and deal with the dysfunction. And listen, y'all don't get no argument out of me. Yes, it's very dysfunctional. I don't think it can be repaired. That's just where I'm at. I'm a pessimist. No, I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. We ain't going to correct this, y'all. It's just not going to happen. Not in our lifetime. It's too far gone. It's too far gone, man. We are not going to fix this. But for the fact of making a point, let's say we wanted to really fix it, then that means that y'all would have to repair that black family. Because the black family is crucial. Yes, you had dysfunction in the black community back in the day, but it wasn't to this level. And when you destroyed, and I say you, we know who destroyed the black family now. We've covered this. We know the axis of evil who destroyed the black family. I don't need to repeat it. But when the black family was decimated, then the black race was on a collision course with Blackistan. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. And if you don't want this man disciplining his son, keeping his son in check, and his son knowing, listen, I'm not gonna act a fool because I know my dad, and fuck that. I want him finding out. But now, yeah, my mama can know what she gonna do. She gonna slap me upside the head. It ain't gonna hurt. She try to whoop me with shit. It's not gonna hurt. Shit, I'm in the 9th grade. I weigh 300 pounds. I'm 6'9". Man, come on, stop. What's she gonna do? And if y'all not serious about repairing that black family, then, man, listen, we're not going anywhere. As a race, we're not going anywhere. And it's only getting worse. But they only want to deal with the present as if it sprung up like a dandelion or a weed. And no, it has a history. Everything that you see in Black America in 2021 has an origin. It has history. And if you're only going to deal with the symptoms and not the cause, see, that's like a doctor only wanting to give you some medication for your symptoms. Hey, look, doc, eventually we got to get to what's really ailing me. If you only want to give me medicine to help me deal with the symptoms, but eventually you never want to address the cause, then what? I need to seek me another doctor. Because eventually you're going to have to address the cause. See, these sisters only want to deal with the symptoms. So that's why they're only talking about black men, the black, this over here. And they only deal with the symptoms, but they never go back into history to understand why is it like that. To understand the present, you got to understand the past. And this is the reason why all of them are off in their analysis. Like I said, there's a small remnant of black women who I know, y'all know this. Brooklyn Blue, Crystal Kairzan, Cynthia G, Nyla Says, y'all know this. Y'all know. Y'all just don't want to address it. That makes you disingenuous. But people, we gonna wrap this one up because oh boy, I'm back to thinking about this weekend's Rabbit Hole production. Oh dear mama. The mother brings her daughter back to complete a ghetto gagger scene and sits and watch. Oh, send me an email. I most certainly will get you the link for this Rabbit Hole production. Oh, man. Let me stop because I don't want to slip up. Because at the end of the day,